Over the last few months, I have been making this simple, small, Bluetooth PS4 controlled RC car. This is just a prototype with all the code and electronics finished and in a somewhat workable state. I'm going to release a video with a polished version in an actually usable state in the future. Then I will also release all my files, so to not miss that, subscribe. This has mostly been a learning project for me because it was my first ever big arduino project. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I made this car and how you can build something like this too. At the start of this project, I just had a rough idea of what I was making, so I just ordered some parts. For the microcontroller, I got the Arduino Nano 33 IoT because it has all the features I want, mainly Bluetooth, a small price tag, and a small footprint. Because I had some motors lying around that I honestly not even know where I got them from, which is definitely not going to be a problem, I just got a dual motor controller. With that, I got a 9-gram servo and 4 AA batteries I had lying around. The first part of the build process just consists of me trying to get all of the electronics working with my microcontroller. For that, I recommend you use a breadboard. Most of that went without any big problems, except for connecting my PS4 controller to my Arduino. For that, I am using the BluePad32 library that can be found on GitHub and GitLab. There's nothing wrong with the library. It is all just user error, my own laziness, and the fact that I have never uploaded firmware to an Arduino before. I spent far longer on trying to troubleshoot a non-existent error than I would like to admit. After getting that to work, the next step starts. Getting all of these scripts and parts to work together. Normally, here I would encounter integration hell. Integration hell is basically all parts of a project working on their own, but not together. Thankfully, for me, I didn't have any big problems here. I won't release the code at the moment, mostly because it's not nice and not robust at all. I will do that in my follow-up video. With all the electronics finished, I have to make something to mount all of the parts to. So I hopped into Onshape and made a simple model. I then made a few iterations until the model somewhat worked. For the steering, I used a small servo and a linkage with a small bit of wire. But now the actual problems of my project start. Because I had no idea how strong and how fast the motors were, and how weak 4 AA batteries are, I completely overestimated how much the motors could push. Adding to that, the motors also were way too fast. I then tried to reduce the motor speed, both with gears and rubber rings, until I got to about a 1:20 reduction, at which point the wheels were rotating at the right speed. But for a at that time unknown reason to me, the wheels still didn't have enough force to move the car. That finally gave me the idea to use other batteries, which made me use 2 3.7 volt batteries I scalped from a scooter. This, together with a 1:20 reduction, finally worked. This should have been the end of it all, yet I kinda dropped my car and some of the 3D printed parts broke. I took that as an opportunity to slightly remake the 3D model, printed and assembled the thing, which leads to what you see here now. I also remade the steering linkage twice to only use 3D printed parts. It still is a very simple model, but at the time of making this video, I'm already changing that. As already said, I'm going to make the model better, make a usable guide and get some PCBs manufactured, and then you guys are going to be able to make your own, so for that subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.